Y'all, it is Throwback Thursday, and for the first part of today's long vlog, we read the back of our National Day calendar. They emphasize on National Hat Day. The Sombrero de Pedida, Mexico, is a traditional courtship hat made of straw or felt and decorated with embellishments. The Royal Ascot hat, once known as the chapeau chandelier in France, is an elaborate hat decorated with embellishments, worn by French women during the Royal Ascot horse race. The Chinese opera hat in China is worn by actors in Chinese opera to symbolize different characters and emotions. The sombrero vueltiao in Colombia, I probably butchered that, is a hat made of caña flecha, a type of reed, and often worn with a ruana or poncho. So yeah, some different types of hats worn in different cultures. Very interesting. And as y'all know, I like the bucket hat, and it seems to fit me, which is why I keep finding and buying random bucket hats. In fact, I had added a couple to my Amazon list yesterday. Don't know when I'm going to be able to purchase those, but hopefully here soon. One is a mac and cheese hat. I did look up a couple that are actual cheese, so it's like cheese with the holes in them. And they all look pretty cheesy. Some of them really don't look good at all. Some of them look like they're just freaking plastic cheese and they took a giant close-up picture of it. I mean, regardless, I'll get one of them. We'll see which one I consider getting. There's a really cool looking spirally tie-dye one. And speaking of tie-dye, I managed to do one of those yesterday afternoon. And it is in the dryer currently, but we are saving that for Tie-Dye Tuesday, which is next Tuesday. Or is it twisted? Do we do tie-dye and then twisted? I forget. Yeah, tie-dye first. I'm like looking over at the calendar. Tie-dye and then twisted. So yeah, the 20th, Tie-Dye Tuesday, we will share it. It is the neon yellow sweatshirt that I said is in good shape, but it's like, it's boring the way it is. I want to spice it up. And I guess you could say I did spice it up. And unfortunately, I ran out of neon orange tie-dye, so I'm going to have to be putting that back on my list as well. It's like, for someone who does not care for the color orange, I do love the neon orange. It's cool as shit. But yeah, doesn't take much to use those up, unfortunately. I wish there were bigger bottles of them, or like refill bottles. Like big refill bottles, and they could just dump them in the sprayer one. That would be nice. Don't know if that's a thing, though. So I did get on yesterday and made my blood elf hunter named Love Puff, which is one of my good Twitch streamer friends' words for farts, and I was lucky to get that name, so it's still a variation of a fart. Now, I know they're releasing the expansions along with their, what do you call it? The services, available services literally as they did them originally. So unfortunately, Because you all know I have the druid on the lion side named Catfart, and I have the rogue named Sneakfart on Horde, and I wanted to faction change the druid to Horde, but unfortunately that original service was not made available until Wrath came. So I got a long ways to go before I can faction change Catfart to play with my Horde family, basically. But one thing they did roll out with BC, Burning Crusade, was the character boost. So you pay $60 and your character automatically gets boosted to level 58, so it's ready to start the Burning Crusade quest lines. Now my rogue is at 40 or 51, almost 52. I'm not going to buy a boost, obviously, because I cannot warrant spending $60 on that. Now, if they'd reduce it to, I guess if they'd cut the price in half, then I would do it. If they made it $30 instead of $60, then I would consider doing it. But $60, no, I can't warrant that. Leveling is faster now anyway, since Burning Crusade was added, because it was very slow and grindy during actual Classic. But they kind of sped it up a little bit for Burning Crusade. So, you know what? Since it's not going to take me that much longer to get a few more levels to be able to start Burning Crusade when it starts the beginning of February, I'm fine with that. I have plenty of time to get my character to level 58. Now, I did work on my little Blood Elf Hunter a little bit yesterday, and even after fixing the add-ons, because, you know, it's very hard to play WoW without add-ons. Well, it's hard to play Classic without add-ons. You kind of have to go through once they add an expansion or whatever. And the one stupid thing with, because we use CurseForge for that, one of the very stupid things about it is when you're set to your game, like World of Warcraft, it only gives you 3 variations of the game. You literally have to remove one of them from your thing if you're going to play a different one. So technically there's 4. There's retail, there's Mists of Pandaria Classic, there's BCC Anniversary, which is what I'm on right now, and there's regular Classic. And you can only have 3 on your list. So I had to remove Mists of Pandaria from my list to add BCC Anniversary. Because the Mists of Pandaria one was the one I was set to before I started playing the Anniversary Realms. And then you have to, like, delete all the add-ons, install them again. Because if you look at it, all the add-ons are at different numbers for the game versions. So, like, if you go to Classic, the game version of that add-on is 1.15.8 or whatever. If you go to BCC Anniversary, it is 2.5.5 for most of them. And retail is all the way up at 12.0 or 12.0.1. So they all have their own settings. Props to all the people who do make add-ons for games like this. I know that's a lot of work, and even though some of them aren't perfect, they do help immensely. But yeah, the ones for BCC Anniversary currently do not work. So, literally trying to quest without Questy is very difficult in Classic. Now, in Retail, they have added things where it's easier to find where your quest things are. In Classic, you have to actually read the freaking quest that's given to you and try to make sure you go in the right direction for that. Now, luckily, the starting quests aren't that bad, so it's pretty easy to find them. Or if you've done them enough times before, you vaguely remember the direction that they're in. But yeah, for me right now, they do not work. I don't know if there's a folder I have to delete or something, and I really fucking hate doing shit like that, and it's really annoying. And I hate Windows 11 because it makes it very hard. But it is what it is. Hopefully in a couple days or so, add-ons will get updated, and then hopefully it'll fix itself. But that being said, I may actually take a break from playing with them not working, especially considering how annoying Classic is to track a quest. You have to shift click on the quest to track it, and it doesn't even stay tracked. It disappears after a few minutes, and it's just like, why can't you just leave it tracked? Like, why did you make it like this? Like, I get it, they're rolling it out as it originally happened, but man, what a pain in the ass. Like, you have to retrack the damn thing. And I'm like, I don't want to go in these high-level zones and then accidentally run into fucking elite mobs and get my ass kicked because I can't find where my stupid quest is. Because I'm not used to this stuff at all. Because I started in Wrath. Now, even in Wrath, I think we had an add-on or something that made finding quests easier. But I don't even really remember that much, so. Anyway, it is what it is. If nothing else, I may spend more time. I may keep working on the hunter, but just until I get out of the main little starting area. Maybe at least until I get a pet. I don't know. I don't know yet. But I may continue. I may just say screw it, wait till shit's updated and working properly, and then in the meantime, clean up my area. Because I didn't even get to do that yesterday. But at least, like I said yesterday, or last night, the bathroom upstairs is mostly clean, so it's a lot nicer. Anyway, stay tuned for the end of this vlog, which will be recorded later. So, even though it's a few seconds for video, it's a few hours in reality. See you on the flip side. And quite a few hours later, today was a slow day. And it was one of those annoying days where it started out kind of warm and rainy. And then it turned into cold and windy, which is really annoying and not fun. Lately at work, I've been listening to the Mystery Science Theater 3000 and Riff Tracks channels on Twitch because I've been trying to do the ABCs for them, which I've gotten all those finally. For that list. I don't know when I'm gonna upload that list. The first list I do, I think, is going to be, we might do it in March, since March is Movie Madness March, and it would make the most sense because they're making fun of movies. I had this thought while I was listening. I want to make a robot because there's one thing that does get shared, because Joel was the original creator and the original designer of the robots. And he was actually explaining what he made them, like some of the parts that he made them out of. And now, like, looking at my wallpaper, I already knew some parts. Like Thomas Servo's top of his head's a gumball, part of a gumball machine. His body is a barrel of monkey's barrel. And it got me thinking on all the things that I've accumulated, some of which things from that would normally be thrown out, and I'm thinking to myself, I could use that for parts. But see, I don't have the skills for the way they're created and work, because it's more of a marionette type of puppet where you use strings to make their mouths move and that kind of stuff. I don't have the patience to do that. If I make a robot puppet kind of thing, I want a hand puppet, like I do with the actual made hand puppets. But I do have a little bit of an idea for one, and I'm trying to avoid using the same colors because Crow is mostly gold. I may put gold on it and silver on it because, I mean, those are kind of standard metallic colors. And Tom Servo has red and white and black. So it's just like, I want to make different color robots. Like, I really want to make a green one because I have stuff that's green or that I can paint green. And then the good thing about having good old, as artists know, Mod Podge, which covers over things, you can get matte Mod Podge, which is a dull coating, but it protects the surface, keeps the paint on from not shiny, like not being shiny, glossy. And then there is a glossy Mod Podge. So if I paint anything to create these robots, I'll use the gloss Mod Podge over it so it does look like it is a robot. Even if it's made with cardboard. Because I was thinking about those little pressed cardboard tubes that we have our labels wrapped around, and we always just throw this around. Like a paper towel tube or toilet paper tube. But they're thicker, they're smaller, and let me see something. Do I have one right now? Yes, I have one right next to me that I can grab. So, these things. So our rolls of labels come wrapped around these things. They go in the printer like this, and then the labels just feed out through the printer. And then you pull, once they run out, you pull this out and chuck it. And I always thought, I saved a shit ton of these for crafts, and I thought, and I started to build something with them. I was trying to build like a pencil holder, and I never finished it. And when I was painting them, I was like, this is really annoying because there's the glue bands around it. And those are usually what hold the labels onto it. But because it's dry, why not use these to an advantage because they already are shiny? Yes, I'll still put Mod Podge over it, but I can use this to an advantage. Is that gold or copper? I don't know, whatever. I can always make it look like, if I make this joints to an arm or something, or even his neck, I can take that glue band and just color it with a Sharpie, and then the real paint on the cardboard itself. And I'll probably have to do, if I wanted a lighter color, I'm going to obviously have to put white on it first, and then paint it in whatever color I want to use. And then we'll gloss Mod Podge over that. But I was like, this would be good at, like, even if I have shorter ones, and I do have a few shorter ones, not a lot, unfortunately, because those usually come out of the use by labels that get stuck on, like, bagels and bread products and whatever that come from bakery. They usually come in frozen, and they're not to be pulled out until they're ready to be put on the shelf, and that's why we put the use bys on them. So if you go shopping somewhere and you see a use by sticker that the store has put on it, that means that item's come in frozen. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it is so much better fresh. Most things, anyway. And whenever my duct tape runs out, literally same thing, just bigger. So it's like, yeah, I could literally make a robot out of these. And I have different sizes, and I have several duct tape ones. So every time I have duct tape now, and I use it up, keep the center. And I do have, like I said, I do have some of the smaller ones. The only thing is, if I make, like, an arm out of this, I would still need something to feed through it. Something relatively thick and flexible to feed through it. So that would be the hard part. So it is a work in progress, like, and, like, the cool thing about Tom Servo is, if you ever look at him, basically his arms, well, there are plenty of episodes where it shows him outside of the theater and into their background setting, or their tabletop setting, whatever it is. And his arms get swung around. Now, his hands are not usable. Crows actually, I think, can be moved with the strings that are attached to them. But, like, Tom Servo's, when they turn him around and his arms swing, you can tell they're kind of like, they're basically slinkies. And they're, like, the legit good slinkies, not the shitty plastic ones you get nowadays. However, now that I think about it, where did I put those? Did I put those in this drawer? Or did I put them in that drawer? I have a collection. Ah, there's one. Of little tiny slinkies, and I could use these technically for kind of the same thing instead of maybe this. And these are in the party supply section at Walmart, and they're cheap. So, like, blah, and bouncy. They don't work as well as a regular slinky because they're so much shorter, but one of the things I know we all did with slinkies back in the day was, like, take the two ends and pinch them, and then it's like, you could almost wear it like a giant annoying ring. But it kind of feels, I don't know, it's like almost fidgety, like it's satisfying when you stick your finger through it. It kind of feels cool. Almost like the satisfaction of the infinity rose that one of my Twitch streamer friends made me. And yes, this is made out of chainmail, just so you know. Chainmail and rubber bands. So yeah, I love this thing. It's so pretty. And she still will make these if anybody ever wants one. You just have to tell what colors. And I just said, I'll take the rainbow one you've already got made. Because she pretty much already had that made. Oh yeah, here look. There's even a thinner band. Not sure what I'd use it for, but hey. Actually, you know what? You know what the first thing that pops into my head when I see this one? I think of those circus things where it's a hoop and then the flames coming out of it and then the animal has to jump through it. Because usually those hoops are very narrow. But yeah, those were my thoughts for today while it was quiet at work. Oh yeah, and then these. I could literally use his hands. And actually, if I'm making a green robot, match, kind of. Now, I would have to find a way to break this or bend it out, and then bam, there's the hands. Find a way to attach this along the arm of it, but make it so that it doesn't fall off. I don't know. That is just a thought. But like these, because I have several of these, I don't need to use them all as tongs. Why not use them as hands for... Now his look like Mickey Mouse gloves, kind of. I mean, Tom Servo's kind of look like Mickey Mouse gloves. But I'm like, I don't know if there's really a way to break these, because they are pretty sturdy. I guess if I bend them back and forth enough, they'll snap. Because I don't have bolt cutters. I know my dad, I think, has a pair of bolt cutters, but I do not have one. And that probably would work on this. Because it is a thin metal. It's kind of cool. Just literally press it back into place and you didn't even notice that I did that. Like, you can't even tell that I did that to it. They actually, the funny thing with these is like clappy hands, like tiny hands clapping. I could use my tiny hands too. The only problem is the majority of them are middle fingers. I could make a robot with middle fingers. Paint the nails, because it does actually have fingernails on it. That would be funny if I painted them. I could do that. Anyway, that is really all I have for today. I did have to go grocery shopping. The electric bill is high this month, as it is usually at the beginning of the year, at least around here. So it's like, literally this month and next month is going to be higher than normal. Because for some reason, power companies do that. Now, I don't know if they do that in your state. If they do, let me know in the comments, but it's really annoying. And because it is Throwback Thursday, I'm going to share with you a very, very special, nostalgic throwback item that used to be my grandmother's. It originally had a string. It was an ornament for a Christmas tree. It is supposed to be a little dog on a chair, rocking chair. Little plastic rocking chair. And you can tell by the style of the way they did the dog that it is vintage, but it is also made out of rabbit fur. She had this thing for a very long time. And the rung on the chair is like broken in the back, but yeah. Other than that, it is still, well, other than that and the fact that it's dirty because of cigarette smoke. So that's really nothing I can do anything about, because if I try to clean it, I'll probably end up ruining it, so I'm just leaving it how it is. But like, you can't even see the ears until you brush the fur down. So yeah, it's supposed to be a little fluffy white dog chilling on a chair. And this was one of her Christmas ornaments, and I always really liked this one. So most of her old ornaments, I ended up inheriting. And this is probably my favorite one and the one that's in the best shape. I had a couple others of hers that were flocked, but the flocking is extremely dirty, and I've started to peel it off the plastic. I was going to try to fix it, but I don't know if there's a way to fix flocking. So I could probably just leave them as hard plastic. But this one, I'm just leaving how it is, not using it as an ornament anymore. It's now kind of just a decoration chilling on one of my little shelves up here. So let me know in the comments if y'all have ever inherited something that your grandmother always had that you always liked. And I will see you guys in the next video, vlog, whatever. Have a good night.